I still dress as if I belong at the skate park. I'm a generation gap, black earring, cargo pants, youth culture, long hair, SoCal skate shoes kind of a guy. You could say your average grandmother wouldn't approve, though mine does. I am married with 2 kids and live in a suburban house. My son is 2 years old, and I have a newborn baby girl. My wife has gotten used to some of the people I surround myself with and work with, but I don't think she'll ever get used to the car. Strange that I find my calling is to battle porn. Why should we even battle it? If you watch or read a lot of Christian material on the subject, you'll hear, just don't do it. As if becoming a Christian suddenly eases a man or woman's drive to look at porn. Then there is the Christian notion that porn is a pastime of only the sinful and wicked. Pornographers and porn consumers fit somewhere between liberals and homosexuals on the scale of Christian good and evil. What about the stripper who needs to support her children? What about the pastor who has a secret addiction to porn? What about the pornographer who wishes he could erase some of what he has seen and done because it haunts him at night? The issue is a little more complicated than good and evil, black and white. The human being is a hazardous jumble of wires, not the strong cables we like to think of ourselves as. I didn't always see everybody as so complex, and I'll admit sometimes I still don't. Sometimes I look at someone in this business or the Christian world and think I'm right, you're wrong. Or, I'm better than you. How can you live with yourself? This is my natural tendency, but I'm getting a little better at catching myself. I'm getting better at showing grace where before there was only judgment. I remember one such instance clearly. Black streamers. One balmy night in Pomona, I walked into a convenience store during a late hour to buy a soda. Aisles of the usual pastry snacks and health bars cover the small store, like thousands upon thousands of convenience and liquor stores everywhere. The clerk looked up from a book to give me a customary nod, and his eyes fell back to the pages. Because of the hour, I was the only customer. I walked across the worn tile to the refrigerators near the wall and grabbed my 7-Up. Suddenly, a small, furtive man wearing a ruffled jacket over a collared shirt entered to the sound of the beeping sensors. He quickly made his way toward the back of the store and stopped into a small nook hidden away in the farthest corner. I could barely make out the man searching through whatever merchandise that back corner held. He could have been anybody, a blue-collar construction worker, a businessman getting back late from the office, a waiter, a teacher, a husband, a father. His face held nothing, not even a satisfied gesture once he found his desired good. The man positioned his body to hide the item and pulled it out for the clerk, keeping his head down, not saying a word. The clerk scanned what looked like a magazine in a shiny plastic cover, put it in a bag, and handed it to the man. He paid with exact change and left, walking briskly. By that time, I had a pretty good idea what the man had just bought. Still, my curious nature got the best of me, and I made my way back to the hidden corner. I turned into the corner, and the shelves full of magazines and videos confronted my vision, except I couldn't see any of the covers. Attached to the shelves were long black streamers made out of industrial trash bags. The streamers provided a buffer for my eyes. In order to access the hidden pornography, I would have to reach through the black wall of streamers. Just then, another customer came through the door, and a breeze ruffled the streamers. My eyes caught a glimpse of exposed flesh. So this was what the man had been browsing through, dipping his hand through the layer of streamers and choosing which porn he'd take home that night. So I dismissed the man and felt sorry for him. I adopted a holier-than-thou attitude. As I look back on this incident, I feel ashamed. A painful memory came back to me of my close friend, a youth pastor who was fired for looking at porn. How did I know the small, furtive man wasn't a Christian or even a pastor? I was so ready to count him among the unbelievers and not show him any grace. This is the danger of porn to the church. We are so used to the black wall of streamers blocking our vision that we forget the dangerous addictions found within the flimsy barrier. So many people and Christian pastors have had their hands within these dangerous boundaries and don't know how to withdraw them. We ignore the problem while people struggle inside. We need a wake-up call, a call strong enough to rustle the streamers and show Christians that this problem exists. And if it takes a car that makes a few people uncomfortable, then so be it. XXX Church. You can call the XXX Church a journey, my journey. A better way to describe it is a headfirst dive into a pit full of jellyfish. Every journey has a beginning. 4 years ago, the word pornography brought cursory images to my mind, the bare surface of a world I knew nothing about. My mind conjured up sleazy producers and porn stars filming perversities, but the filming and producing were miles upon miles away from my own home. 4 years ago, I hadn't the slightest clue I'd bring the issue home with me. So what happened 4 years ago? Did I suddenly get a degree in pornology? No, my friend and fellow pastor Mike Foster was taking a shower one morning when God whispered the word porn to him. It was that simple. He came to me because he knew I was the kind of guy who took ideas and actually followed through on them. We rationalized that nobody was talking about this issue, and something needed to be said. We're not ex-porno addicts, and we don't have the story of hitting rock bottom. We simply saw a void and envisioned ourselves filling it. Yes, Mike felt God had spoken just a single word to him while showering one morning. That word, that single, dirty, ugly, yucky, filthy word that we just don't talk about in church. But what were we supposed to do with it? We began to brainstorm ideas and eventually decided right then and there to start up a website and to call it xxchurch.com. We even came up with the tagline, the #1 Christian porn site, right there on the spot. In the midst of our excitement that day, somber memories bombarded me. Even though I didn't have that incredible story of surviving porn, I had a few friends who did. I started thinking about my good friend who lost his job as a youth pastor because of a few run-ins with porn. I thought about an elder from my church who lost his wife and family over his 10-year battle with porn. And I thought about a woman who I'd met whose marriage was annulled after just a few short months because of porn. I attacked this issue with a bittersweet drive, fueled by the pain of those I loved falling on this deadly battleground and tempered by the revelation that I, Craig Gross, with the help of God, had the power to change it. I distinctly remembered that nervous race back to my office so we could register the domain name, hoping no one had had it, and fortunately no one did. It wasn't long before we made t-shirts and stickers, and we had no clue what we were doing, other than knowing we had to help guys who liked to look at naked women in the secrecy of their homes and offices and didn't want to talk about it. As time went by, we discovered that even women and young kids had problems with porn. We hadn't studied the issues of porn, but have felt a calling too strong to ignore. It was such a dirty little secret. So on January 9th, 2002, xxchurch.com made its internet debut, and boy were we blown away by the response. At first, however, we only had 2 words on our website: porn sucks. Mike and I sat in the office staring at the words for 5 minutes. A boyish grin lit up Mike's face. There seemed to be simple truth to them. Yeah, porn sucks. We knew we needed more, so we started going to other websites and stealing their statistics on porn. Hey, everyone needs a little inspiration. After rearranging the content a few times, we felt that we needed to find the real face of porn. We began to go out in public and interview people. Classic man-on-the-street style testimony. It was a hit almost immediately, and suddenly we had a lot of exposure. January 9th, the day we started our journey, held a darker omen. The day was the opening of the AVN Adult Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada, the largest pornography trade show in the United States. Strange coincidence? Maybe. We decided the fight would be held there, at the front lines, taking our calling from behind the computer screen and our website domain to the very hive and lifeblood of the industry. But what kind of battle would we choose to fight? We didn't know what the porn industry would think of us, because they're constantly under attack, and not just by religious groups. But we decided early on not to fight against the industry as such. Instead, we went in with a completely different approach. We went to their turf on their terms. And because we took the first step, the people in the industry got to know us. And once they got to know us, we started hearing them say, "You guys aren't like the other religious people. You aren't what we thought of as Christians." How can this be? It's simple. We're honest about our profession, about our faith, and about our humanity. The porn industry and the secular culture have embraced us. Not that everyone gives us big high fives every time they see us, but on the whole we have encountered astonishingly little resistance from the industry because deep down they are just all sinners like you and me, desperately looking for someone to love them. And that's what we do. Since we started XXX Church, we've had a ton of opportunities to get an insider's look at the world of porn, and we always bring honesty with us. Both Christians and non-Christians struggle with this issue of pornography. So we take the real-life approach, step back from all that's been said about it, and come at it straightforwardly and honestly, and controversially. This is the world I've chosen to live in. We're trying to help people see the true nature of pornography. It's pure exploitation, the objectification of sex. God gave us so much more than that. Christianity doesn't condemn sex or pleasure. Sex is a wonderful gift, fully sanctified in God's glory. Have you ever read Song of Solomon? Ever wonder what that little piece of erotic writing is doing in the Bible? Yet we choose to ignore